Reports for this evening. Now it's time for public comment. Anyone who's in the audience, now is your opportunity to speak. I ask if you want to speak to please come forward to the microphone, state your name and address. Please limit your comments to 2 minutes. Kevin here will keep track of the time. When he raises his hand, your 2 minutes are up. I ask that you wrap up your comments then. Those speaking are asked to conduct themselves in a respectful manner as they deliver their comments. Audience members are asked to refrain from reacting to comments, and the City Council will not respond directly to comments in this venue or take immediate action in response to them. So the floor is open. Anyone who wishes to speak, now is your opportunity to come up to the microphone, state your name and address, and your comment.
Owatonna, 646 East Main Street. I encourage everyone to attend the South Central Minnesota Clean Energy Forum Zoom meeting at X link this Friday at 9 a.m. In particular, pay attention to the Rochester plans to develop a downtown district energy system. Owatonna many years ago had a combined heat and power plant, CHP, which was a downtown district energy system. I also request my council member to have the city administrator schedule a community education tour of the St. Paul Regional Energy Facility. This combined heat and power waste wood burning facility generates electricity and heats in winter and cools in summer St. Paul and some residential districts. Although almost everyone goes to school for 12 years and some up to 20 years, I've noticed a real need for energy science education. Let's start our energy science education with every council member attending Friday's Zoom meeting and then signing up for the St. Paul Regional Energy Tour. Let's lead by example. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ellis Air Hunter, 2595 Mossy Creek Drive.
What was your name again, sir?
Tyrell Alistair Hunter.
Thank you.
On Friday, there was a serious accident involving a 62-year-old gentleman who was hit by a car as he crossed the street. I would just like to take a moment in silence in concern for this gentleman. This accident happened at the intersection of 18th Street and Cedar Avenue. These roads are much slower and have more controlled intersections than what is being proposed for the East Side Corridor, with intersections just 15 feet from houses. This was an adult capable of making decisions and assessing risk. The East Side Corridor would be feet from where small children and adults with disabilities live and play, residents who do not have the ability to assess the risk. These residents do not get a choice. They do not have a say. Minnesota Department of Transportation says move it out. Residents have said move it out for 30 years. We are saying now, move it out. Friday's accident is exactly the kind of safety concerns residents in the North County subdivision have. A highway at this location will be deadly. You hold the power to protect your residents from known dangerous risks. Please move the East Side Corridor out to 34th Avenue for safety.
Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Matt Sundin. I'm at 2519 Stony Creek Drive, representing myself, my family, neighbors, and hundreds of residents in Owatonna and Steele County, as seen in this petition here. We've talked in the past about the 29th Avenue option for the East Side Corridor, just like the gentleman before me here, and the 29th and 34th options that are at your feet here for decision coming soon. This is the location that the county highway that the city and the county are working on together is proposed. talked about many reasons that the 45 to 55 mile an hour highway next to residential homes is not a good idea, with many small children at play. I'd like to focus on that again tonight. This is a group that cannot vote and cannot speak for themselves, so I'm going to speak for the children tonight, the citizens who are paying perhaps the steepest price for the dangers presented by the 29th Avenue option for the East Side corridor. Here's a picture of just a subset of the homes in the subdivision and how close that highway would be. And here's a house, as the gentleman said before, just 15 foot within the improvement there proposed, that highway. A child should feel safe and nurtured with their family in a loving home. Now children bordering 29th are at risk of being told you cannot play in your backyard again without mommy or daddy being there because someone may stop and hurt you or take you, or you might get hit by a car. Our homes are trading songbirds for semis, and the noise of highways traffic less than 100 feet from children's bedrooms. The noise so close would be harmful for both sleep patterns and cognitive development, as many studies show. Highway noise close to homes where children sleep, play, live causes cognitive development issues, and I'll spare you the details on that as it's just a quick internet search away. We should not prioritize a project that takes plans for a city street and morphs them into a county highway at the expense of our children's cognitive development and safety. Thank you, sir.
Melissa Zimmerman, 2525 Stony Creek Drive. In 1993, when the East Side Corridor was first identified, apart from Echo Hills, residents within city limits lived miles away from the proposed plan. Crestview and Greenhaven were still in the early stages of development, mostly undeveloped, with farms still existing in these newly platted neighborhoods. From the beginning, it is noted that the closest option needed to add space and mitigations for the Brooktree addition, where you can see houses didn't yet exist. Another alignment noted realignment was necessary to avoid Echo Heights, what is now known as Hills Acres today. The mile distance to 34th Avenue was listed as an advantage. In 1995, we studied all of the alternates, and again, citizens addressed location, asking for the farthest two alternates, preferring 34th Avenue. From this study, we knew that we needed 800 feet of space, ironically, the minimum distance for MnDOT needed to bring down truck noise to safe levels. In 1999, the environmental report showed that the East Side Corridor must be separated from existing residents by 800 feet with additional mitigations such as berms and road surface to minimize the remaining noise. Avoid. The official route separated residents by 1,200 feet. Land for the right-of-way should be preserved to prevent encroachment, 1993. Since then, the city of Owatonna has spent 31 years annexing land and encroaching on the map right-of-way. In 2003, land was purchased for the North Country Addition, including the portion of the map right-of-way. In 2004, with the development of that neighborhood, MnDOT recommended against this alignment, advocating for 34th Avenue. Days after receiving that report, 34th Avenue was officially mapped as a 150-foot right-of-way, and the city approved permits to build and purchase on the right-of-way. For a majority of the last 20 years, the outlots sat zoned as vacant residential lots, never intending to house a highway. Today, we have more houses, residents, children, and wetlands on this route than eastern alternatives. To quote a citizen of the 90s, highways restrict growth. Let's build for the future growth. We hold the opportunity to make the next 26th Street right now at 34th Avenue. Build the incentives, people will use it. Thank you.
Here it is, 995 Ridge Road. You guys have seen me walk up here a lot, so it should be no surprise that I am good at stumbling. But I stumbled across something that I thought might be a good idea. I want to share it tonight. But first, we lived for 26 years in our first 3 homes in Owatonna and did not see one deer. 10% of the new residents in Owatonna are probably going to be looking at the new apartments put up. Another 10 to 20% that are probably going to be renting elsewhere. And the archery hunt and the deer have no impact really on them at all unless they have their families that are playing in parks, where the activity is happening. So, the deer collisions have stayed roughly the same at 0.8 per month over the years. And that does not appear to be the main factor that is causing the hunt. So it's got to be garden defoliation. It seems to me to be one or the other. The map of the deer collisions I gave you in December, it's pretty clear. 26th Street, 35W entrance ramps. I mean, you can pretty well see where the collisions are happening. But we don't see where the deer defoliation is. And everybody likes to call and yell at their council person, but in talking to one of the other cities, I found what I think might be a good idea. And what I have is an email address set up by the city of Owatonna that is used just for deer defoliation. If a homeowner has deer damage, they take a cell phone picture of it, they email the photo to an email address set up at the OPD, specifically for complaints with a copy to the Park and Rec. Have an automatic response on it saying, somebody's going to be back in 24 hours, then put it in a file, and now you have a record of the complaint, the date, the email address of the homeowner, the physical address, and even a photo of the damage. Now the OPD, they don't have to do anything about this. They're just holders of the information because they already have the collisions. So now you get to the end of the year and you discuss this saying, we're sick of the deer, what do we do about it? Well, now you've got 2 files with information over the last 2 years, and now you got something to help you as you discuss and try and decide. And I figure more information is never a bad thing. Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak this evening? Not, then we'll close our public comment period. Go to council comment, and first up tonight is Doug.
Yes, thank you. Wanted to back up Deanna on the, she has when you can sign up for the news releases. And last week I had a number of people calling me asking about the accident that the gentleman mentioned up by Hy-Vee, and within 20 minutes I had a note from Deanna, or actually a news release from Deanna telling us what happened. So it works really well. If you have a chance, sign up for it.
Great, thanks, Doug. Nick?
Nothing to add.
Hey, Dave?
Nothing to add.
Hey, Dan?
Nothing.
Kevin?
Nothing this evening.
Rich?
Nothing.
Mayor?
Not going to change it, nothing.
Well, I guess I'm going to follow suit then. We got through the presidential primary last night. We used our new voting site next door here. That worked well. Is that right, Jeanette? That worked well over there?
Here in Chambers, and that's probably one thing that I'd like to say. We really do appreciate all of our polling sites are located in churches, and so all of those sites, we are grateful that we can have them there. We also want to thank our election judges. In all total, we had, I think, 85 people helping. So it is, it's a lot of time. We didn't have a lot of participation, but they were there, and it was a good run as we prepare for the primary that will be there in August.
All right. So that's why we met tonight on a Wednesday. We were not allowed to meet on an election day. So with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Dan. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Dave. I'm sure there's no discussion. So all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're done.